Let's talk about movies. It was 15th August 1975 when Sholay, directed by Ramesh Sippy and written by Salim-Javed, was first released. Before the release, Salim-Javed claimed it to be the highest grossing film ever. But when it did got released, the critics condemned it, claiming that it would not work and will be a huge flop. Popular critics even claimed it as dead ember, sound and fury signifying nothing, and as a spectacle it breaks new ground, but on every other level it is intolerable, formless, incoherent, superficial in human image, and a somewhat nasty piece of violence. But then, somehow the viewership increased, probably due to the positive word of mouth. Over time, the critical reception improved greatly after being helped additionally by the sound release containing dialogue snippets, which popularized this famous line. Sholay then became an overnight sensation for the box office and an indisputable classic for the critics. While Sholay has been receiving countless Best Film honors since then, increasing its already humongous cult following, there is a small group of people who make pretty logical and sympathetic argument on why the film is overrated. But even if you think that the comedy cameos were worthless, the action scenes were distracting, or the movie is too slow, you can't deny that Gabbar Singh was one hell of a villain. And there is a reason why he is an iconic character and the most influential villain of Indian cinema. Hi everyone, I am Akshan and welcome to this video. Gabbar is a sadistic personality, one who derives enjoyment from inflicting pain, suffering and humiliation on others. Gabbar craves power and status more than anything else and is primed on killing whenever necessary to maintain his status. Gabbar never misses to set up an example out of someone because he understands its need as a bandit. Even before we see him, we have been shown early in the film that he is doing a good job maintaining his status when we first hear the name Gabbar Singh, followed by this line.
वो मशहूर डाकू? हाँ, वही. सुना है उस पर तो पुलिस ने कुछ इनाम भी रखा है. 50,000.
Also notice that the film does a great job comparing the protagonists and the antagonist by the amount of price on their head. When we actually see Gabbar, we see someone who can't bear a one-up from the other side as it defeats him and his status of invincibility. This results in him always being the one to fulfill his revenge. Gabbar ensures power and status by inflicting terror on the people of Ramgarh. As the name suggests, Ramgarh is a perfect village, a place where there is no casteism and no sexism, as we see through the interaction of the villagers. Painting a village in such a way makes Gabbar the one and only problem for the lives of the villagers, resulting in Gabbar being the driving element of the story. Sholay is much more than a revenge story. It is a story about the lives of the villagers. Both the protagonists and the antagonist are fighting for the people of village. Gabbar wants to take control of them and bend them according to his will, while Jai and Veeru wants to free them and live with them in peace and harmony. This makes Gabbar the perfect antagonist for Jai and Veeru. But this doesn't mean that the whole Thakur plot is pointless, just like this one. No. The reason why we need to see the backstory is because Thakur was the only symbol of hope for the villagers, which is destroyed and made to suffer. Another reason why we need to see this story is because it shows us someone who is in despair, the consequences of going against Gabbar. And this is the mindset Gabbar wants to imply on people. A state of no hope and complete surrender. After what happened to Thakur, the moral authorities got weaker, resulting in the villagers losing all hope, just like Radha. Also notice that the image of moral authority is shown comic, unqualified and shamelessly weak, which has much more to do than just comedy. What the fuck? Jai and Veeru strikes down as the new symbol of hope for the people of Ramgarh and Jai specifically for Radha. Another contrast between them and Gabbar, the symbol of terror and despair. Although his sadistic nature, unclean getup and knowing where he lives paints a scary image in our mind, the way he talks, His use of different emotions for the same dialogue throughout his speaking is terrifying, entertaining, and worthy of pop culture.
अभी तक बहुत जान बाकी है तेरे हाथों में, बहुत जान है तेरे हाथों में, बहुत जान है तेरे हाथों में, बहुत जान है हाथों में है। ये हाथ हमको दे दे ठाकुर।
Also, don't forget the evil laugh. But the thing that makes him evil is that he's smart enough to identify his opponent's weakness and is cruel enough to act on them without hesitation. There is a reason why this dialogue is used in the film.
यहाँ से 50-50 कोस दूर गांव, जब बच्चा रात को रोता है तो माँ कहती है बेटे सो जा नहीं तो गब्बर सिंह आ जाएगा.
It isn't just to establish Gabbar's reign of terror, but more than that, it gives us a hint that Gabbar is not sympathetic even towards children. So when we get this bone-chilling sequence of Thakur's family being massacred by Gabbar, and when Gabbar points his gun directly towards the 8-year-old boy over the scary music inducing terror, we see the most disturbing and violent face of Gabbar Singh. The fact that Gabbar killed a pure innocent, someone who's not even old enough to commit a minor crime, we see him as a pure evil. Later in the film, when Gabbar sees that there is hope rising in the village again, slowly disturbing his reputation, he strikes for their weakness again, their children. Notice that the director didn't show any violence or gore or something similar to this scene. Instead, we get this scene, a visual motif on how powerful he is and how easy it is for him to kill. Killing Imam Sahib's only son, Gabbar induced enough terror in the villagers that ultimately they voted on surrendering Jai and Viru. But only after they hear from someone who just lost his own son that a noble death is better than a life of suffering, they refuse to surrender and the hope rises back again, marking the beginning of the end of Gabbar's terror. But if there is someone who has suffered the most because of Gabbar, it's Radha. Gabbar turned her colorful, joy-filled story into a monotonous, depressing one by destroying her family. She lost all hope and probably had no reason to live except for the sake of it, never expressing any major emotions unless needed. Then Jai comes into her life. At first we see her trying not to hope for anything. These moments are examples of brilliance in silent storytelling. Over the beautiful harmony which speaks more than just words, we hear crickets in the background signifying loneliness in both of these characters. While Jai's room is overflowing with light, a symbol of hope, Radha is turning it off, refusing to hope. But later she falls for it, risking it all trying to feel normal, only to be torn into pieces by Gabbar yet again. Even after Gabbar is gone, he had left her into despair. She may never hope again. But that is not the worst part. The worst part is, he didn't even know her. It was all just to make a point. And that is what makes Gabbar one of the most terrifying and iconic villains of the Indian cinema. Hey, what's up? How was the video? Did you like it? If you did, why not like, share and subscribe? It would really help me out. If you had some thoughts on the video, please share them in the comment section below. Also, what are your thoughts on this movie? Do you think it is overrated? In my opinion, and that is just my opinion, I don't think Sholay is a perfect film, but it is what you call it, the masala masterpiece, which is pretty off my taste considering the last video I uploaded. You can check it out right here. It is on Ugly by Anurag Kashyap, which is far from a masala film. Anyway, that's it. Goodbye and I'll see you next week with some other movie.